College football does not disappoint. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, with our big, that would be B-I-G, big Alabama, Georgia pregame show with you. And we can certainly talk about the games that are on the air right now as Texas A&M is putting away Mississippi State. And we just saw Arkansas with a tremendous win over Ole Miss at home. First SEC win at home since 2016 for the Hawks. We'll talk about the action throughout the day. We have just posted an instant analysis on Kentucky and Tennessee. Please check that out. Kentucky, Tennessee. Wildcats romp all over the Vols, 34-7 as a 6-point underdog in that game. I'll get to your comments, of course, in the live chat. The phone lines are open at 860-325-3687. I apologize for the late notification on this one. So I had planned out my day to go live following Miami Pitt, which we did on the Miami channel. So hopefully you caught up with that. If you haven't, please check out that video in between Alabama, Georgia during the commercial breaks, I guess. You can do that. So we went live with Miami Pitt. Canes win that one 31-19. Took your calls, had about 110 on the line. We appreciate that. And then we did some instant analysis on Kentucky's big win over Tennessee, 34-7 with Kevin McGuffey from Last Word on College Football. And then I thought, well, of course, we're going to do our post game on Georgia, Alabama with a big wrap-up call-in show. But it was just about a half hour ago. I thought, you know what? Let's get people's predictions on Georgia, Alabama. I will unveil mine as well. Hopefully you caught me on Patreon and you're locked in over there because I was 5-0 at noon. I don't know about the later games here. I do know that I took Texas A&M to cover 5 points. So we will get you our record at some point when all the day's festivities are concluded. The number is 860-325-3687. We'll talk anything and everything that you want to talk in college football. My focus, first and foremost at noon, was Miami Pitt. Kentucky, Tennessee, though, was my favorite. I thought it was going to be a tremendous game. I thought that would be the game at noon. But actually, the game that turned out to be the best game at noon was Auburn, South Carolina. So I got to go back and watch that. I only saw bits and pieces of Auburn's loss at Columbia against the Gamecocks. And, of course, we dealt with that Kentucky-Tennessee game as well. And at 3:30, I had split attention between Ole Miss and Arkansas, with the Hogs winning a big one, and Texas A&M's taking care of Mississippi State. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Who's on the line?
Davey Thomas State, buddy.
There he is.
Talking about blowouts this weekend.
Okay. Any more than usual? A lot of blowouts?
It started, I think it started Thursday night, then Friday, now today. Now Auburn got blown out by South Carolina. I think it was 30-22. I mean, just amazing. I'm just loving it. Loving it.
You love some blowouts.
And now this Alabama-Georgia thing.
Okay.
I'm going to sneak it and say Georgia probably knocks off Bama tonight.
Okay.
I just wanted to share that with you and let it go with it.
That's what we're asking for, is Georgia-Alabama prediction. So we'll take it, Navy Thomas. Is this going to be a blowout?
Well, the wins they've been blown out. Just all you got to do is look at the scorecards.
Really? Well, I know Clemson. Clemson and Georgia Tech. Now
lots of ranked teams.
Yeah.
Lots of ranked teams got knocked off Thursday, Friday, Saturday now. So I just share it with you.
You're right.
I hope you can do a video on that on, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday when you're screwing around.
When I'm screwing around. Well, I'll be knocking out some videos. There's no doubt about that. We're going to be here posting videos
All right, buddy.
constantly.
Go back to your show and let you go on. Thanks,
All right,
man.
Tom. Appreciate it. Always. See ya.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Our man, Navy Thomas. That's his theme of the weekend. I saw it on Twitter. Blowout weekend. Clemson, there was a blowout, 73-7. Kentucky, there was a blowout, 34-7. I saw a couple of good games at 3:30. Well, Mississippi State, Texas A&M wasn't any kind of great game, but it got a little interesting there at times. But Ole Miss and Arkansas, that was a good game. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Who's on the line?
Hey, Mark, it's McD Sports 4. How are you doing?
I'm good, McD. What's going on?
Pretty good. I mean, it's been kind of a weird day for me because I was able to watch the first half of these games, of the 12 o'clock games, and a little bit of the second half. Then I got pulled away for something, and I was able to catch the second half of these 3, 4 o'clock games.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to see the conclusions of the 12 o'clock games, but I was able to see the conclusions of these 3, 4 o'clock games. So kind of a weird day for me.
The most entertaining game of the 3:30 window was definitely, in my view, Arkansas over Ole Miss. 7 turnovers for the Rebels, 6 interceptions. Arkansas's got a player. I'm going to do a full instant analysis on this when I get a chance. 3 interceptions. They had got a linebacker, Hunter Morgan, had 19 tackles. He had a pick 6. Yeah, they had another pick 6 in the game. And Arkansas has won its first home SEC game since 2016.
Yeah, that was the game I actually caught some of the second half of. I also tried to watch some Texas A&M and Mississippi State, but that game was kind of just heading nowhere, so I just had to change it to that. I want to talk about South Carolina and their big win this afternoon. I saw they were able to come back.
Yep.
I know they were down. I think they were down 19-14 before I had to go.
They were.
So that happened. I think that's what the score was. That was the game I was watching, and then I was dragged away. So.
Okay, what you got for us?
Well, I think this is a big win from Will Muschamp. Because I think this might save his job. They're able to. They already beat Vandy. They were able to beat Missouri, the Missouris of the world, the Kentuckys of the world, beat the teams that they probably should be beating. I think that win saves Muschamp's job this year.
Well, I don't really know what South Carolina's looking for there, but I got to think that, first of all, because of the COVID situation, because of what the challenges are for everyone, I think for 2 different reasons, most administrations are going to be kind to their coaches. Number 1, because of the understanding of the difficulties. Number 2, because they're losing so much money. You know, we're looking at sports programs that are dropping sports and suspending sports until next year because they don't have enough money to run them. So I don't know that they're going to be paying out coaches' contracts as quickly as they typically would.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like a normal season, not with the whole COVID stuff leading off the side. But I thought that was a big win for him because I know South Carolina fans were complaining about like he's not really that good of a coach and everything. And I always say about Will Muschamp, if it wasn't about wins and losses, I think Will Muschamp is an excellent head coach. But unfortunately, it's about wins and losses. I just think it's a big win for him more than anything.
McD, you get on here at least once a week, and you typically have a number of head coaches that you point out aren't getting the job done. And this week, you come on here and you're telling us that Will Muschamp is a really good college football coach, head coach.
If it's not about except wins and losses.
Except the wins and losses.
Yeah, if it wasn't about that, he's a very good coach. He's a really good football head coach.
He knows football. Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah,
he knows
that's
the
what
game
I'm
of football.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like, I think he knows what he's doing. I just don't think he's really. It's all about wins and losses, and it's just he loses games that he probably shouldn't be losing. I want to talk about Arkansas though, and Sam Pittman. So I'm very impressed with Sam Pittman.
I think we all are.
I mean, I wonder why he hasn't got an opportunity yet to coach, to be a head coach somewhere. I'm sure several teams are regretting that for sure.
Yeah, I believe he's a guy who's in his early to mid 50s, and this is his first head coaching job. And he was most recently the offensive line coach at Georgia. And either he's that good or Chad Morris is that bad, because this is a completely different football team. They should be 3-1. They got ripped off at Auburn. And you're looking at a team that basically has beaten Auburn, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State and played as well against Georgia as anybody else has.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Bama's going to be much better against Georgia tonight. I have Bama winning 27-24, but I'm pretty impressed with what's going on out there in Arkansas. I really am. Just a few more things I've noticed today or this past week in college football. One, Syracuse is very bad. Liberty went in there, did whatever they wanted against them. Two, Dan Mullen got COVID. I hope he gets better. But I still don't like his whole reaction about we should fill up the stadium. And three, and this is the most important one, Miami is back. Have a good day, Mark.
I'm going to take a guess that our friend McD was being just a little tongue-in-cheek there at the end with the Miami is back line. That can be up for interpretation for you and anyone else. That's my guess. So we got some scores coming in. I'll certainly give you mine, but I've got a little house money to play with based on my predictions thus far. Today, David Knight likes Georgia to win this one 31-28. McDee's going with Bama 27-24. Georgia's certainly been the better team thus far this season, but that doesn't mean much, and we know the talent is very comparable. Nick Saban being able to come back and coach now, that had to be a bit of a roller coaster ride to a certain extent. These teams and programs are grounded, and Bama's got such a structure in place from an organizational standpoint. I don't think it really rocked that team at all, but still to believe that their head coach was not going to be able to be on the sideline. And then now suddenly, because of the 3 negative tests, Nick Saban is able to be on the sideline. Bo Weevil likes Bama 24-14. Wow, Bama's going to do an about face on defense with 14 points given up against Georgia after giving up 48 to Ole Miss. Dogs win 37-24, according to Mary and Steve Klauser Miller. Georgia beats Bama. No. That's a Bama win. You fooled me there, MSU #1 fan. Georgia 26, Bama 56. 56 on the Georgia defense. All right, good to see Cheryl. Good to see Michael Hogue as well. We got Greg G, who says Bama's not going to see 56 points. Todd B, dang, man, the SEC looks like trash. Really, really, really bad. So I don't know where that comment comes from exactly, Todd. We appreciate, of course, you're here all the time. You're one of our main guys. I just don't know where your reference point is because the SEC, like everybody else, is not playing anybody else outside of the conference. So I don't know where they look so bad. I'm not seeing where there's the football's that bad. We can't judge these conferences this year. Just throw it away. The only conference we can judge to the negative or the positive is the Big 12, because the only way you can judge a conference is by comparing its results and its performance against the other conferences. But they're all playing by themselves in a silo. So the ACC held serve against a bunch of group of 5 teams, excluding Georgia Tech getting blown out by UCF, which is expected. And really the only scores we've got to go on are the Big 12. And I think those games against the Sun Belt should be held against the Big 12, that if it's close, not that they should be damned to hell and not be able to in any way argue for a college football playoff appearance, but if there's a tie or there is certainly some evidence that it's close between take your pick, Oklahoma State and Oregon, that the conference has shown that if Oklahoma State goes 8-1 and they lose to Kansas State or Iowa State in particular after those teams had lost to a Sun Belt team, that should be held against the Big 12. But other than those 4 results against the Sun Belt in the group of 5, or the FCS actually, where the Big 12 looked awful, lost the 3 games, and Kansas, who cares? And they lost to Coastal Carolina, who may be ranked this week, especially in my poll, in my ranking. Sorry, it's not a poll. The 3 losses to the Sun Belt and the FCS nail biter from Texas Tech, 35-33, a team that scored 56 on Texas. This is the only sample of games that we have to go on to say, okay, we're going to knock down the Big 12 a peg. But everybody else, they're playing each other. So every conference goes 500. So this is not telling us anything. We have no scores to go by. The only possible one would have been had Georgia Tech just torn up the ACC and played really well and contended for a championship spot. Like if Georgia Tech would go out and go 8-3 after losing to UCF 48-14, maybe we could draw something from that. But Georgia Tech's going to be Georgia Tech in the ACC, so it doesn't really matter since we would expect they would get blown out by UCF. Right now, we've got a barn burner with UCF giving up a big lead to Memphis. It's now 49-44 with about 3:41 left in the game after the Tigers just scored from Nealon Watkins. Okay. Typical American Conference showdown between the heavyweights. Memphis at home, down by 5, less than 4 minutes left. Great to see everyone in the chat. Do we have any more predictions? Alan B. Patrol, good to see you. Arkansas is the best team Georgia has played this year. Probably. I think that's a solid opinion. Can't be proven, but it's pretty solid at this point. Maybe Auburn is, but Arkansas has played the best. Tabardine reminding us that of the obvious. Tabardine, I don't know why you need to put that in the chat. Everyone knows it. It's not a point of discussion or debate. Manny Diaz is the best coach in college football. We don't argue that. I will argue just about anything, play devil's advocate. I just can't debate that. There's really nothing I can bring to the table that would elevate, I don't know, who would else be in the running for best coach in college football? Best coach in college football, maybe Lovie Smith? Possibly Lovie Smith. Derek Mason. Manny Diaz, Derek Mason, Lovie Smith. That could be my top 3. Let's extend the list. Chad Morris no longer a head coach, or I would put him in the running. Yeah, there's my top 3. We're going to go with that top 3. But Diaz is number 1. But I'm going Lovie Smith number 2, Derek Mason number 3. Hope you join me on Patreon. Please head on over there. Just search Mark Rogers TV. Join me right there. Please like the video. Please like the video. We're doing this full-time, full throttle all the time. And so expect after it all gets wrapped up tonight, we'll have our top 25 that actually makes sense. And of course, my stock market watch for the weekend, which I did my notes last weekend and I didn't even produce the video, did I? But we'll do our high risers and our teams on the descension in college football. Stats, facts, and trends will be coming. And of course, we're going to release a schedule, a programming schedule that you can count on us hitting every week. And I am working on delivering another team-specific live stream. We're delivering the SEC live show for the second time this Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So SEC fans, 8 o'clock Eastern time every Wednesday night. That's your time. Join us. We had, I don't know how many guests, 7 or 8 guests last Wednesday night. So we expect that to hit big. SEC live, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday nights. And also another team-specific live stream. Who will it be? So as soon as I can pull together a core of guest contributors, we'll get that done. But I think I'm on the verge. I think we got our team. Yeah, Alan is allowing us to be a little bit more specific with that proclamation as Manny Diaz being the best college coach in the nation, best women's soccer coach. Okay. George, good luck to everybody playing tonight, except Georgia. Of course. All right. Got a contribution coming in from Bear of Godkel. Live Squad, hit the like button. Always appreciated to encourage everyone to hit the like button. Share these videos on social media. Share the videos on social media. If you see something here that you like, I say it all the time, and I say it for good reason. I am talking to the same people all the time. I'm talking to you and the people that follow me on Twitter. Same people all the time. Hopefully we grow and grow and grow and grow, which this 30-day hiatus has unfortunately held us back considerably because I'm sure that YouTube has something in its algorithms that all of a sudden somebody doesn't post for 30 days. They kind of suppress them. That's what they've done with me. So I've noticed that where I'm typically picking up 150 to 200 subs per week, I've been back now for 9 days and I picked up like 30. So YouTube has suppressed us, but we'll bounce back. That's why we need you. Share the videos on social media. Let people know that Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, is here to talk college football, have fun, engage with you, the hardcore college football fan. And now's the time to jump on board because, as you guys well know from past seasons, this is when we kick it into gear. I don't know when we don't kick it into gear. We kick it into gear in May. We kick it into gear during recruiting and spring football. We're talking college football every day, so it can be the most dead time of the year for college football, and we're still acting like it's mid-season. But, of course, this is the time because the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are ready to go, and we will be full throttle toward the conference championship games and the college football stretch drive. And this is really the first weekend I've been able to cut loose. This is really the first weekend I've been able to cut loose after my 30-day suspension of sorts. And now here we go. So I've had fun. We delivered our Miami Pitt live stream. Hope you joined us for that call-in show after the Miami win 31-19 over Pitt. And our instant analysis of Kentucky, Tennessee. And got my notes on Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss and Arkansas. So we'll get that coming your way. And, of course, we'll be right back here as soon as Alabama, Georgia goes final. Unless it's like 44-10, then I'll come on early. But if it's a decent game, good game, goes down to the wire, something close to that, I'll be on as soon as the gun sounds right here. again, if it's 44-10 in the third quarter, I'm going to jump on because that's when I lose interest. And there's not 50,000 games going on right now. Unless Florida State and North Carolina is really good, then I'll be watching that. SEC Dog is telling us that Kentucky is the second best defense in the SEC. Arkansas, third as of now. Check out my video. Well, you're kind of in a bind. You're watching us live, and you can't check out the video before the Alabama-Georgia kickoff. I know, but I think I did a pretty darn good breakdown on the Georgia defense and the Alabama defense and what could be wrong. Florida couldn't stop Ole Miss. Kentucky, who since has shut out Mississippi State and held Tennessee to one touchdown. Kentucky could not contain Ole Miss. Alabama, mighty Bama, could not contain Lane Kiffin and company. Who did it take? Arkansas. 7 turnovers today, 6 picks of Matt Corral, and we will outline that one. So maybe at halftime of the Bama-Georgia game, you can check out our instant analysis. All right. Cheryl told us all week, Bama's going to win. George, see you later, man. Tabardine, who cares about Bama? We got Todd B says Bama's going to smoke Georgia. Trevor, appreciate you joining us on Patreon. It's good to have you over there. Man, I got some exciting things to post and to talk about. We got a particular viewer here who sent me a note last night, and this note was enlightening. Not lightning, it was enlightening. Sometimes in life when you know to do something and you know the truth, you know which way you should go, you know something, but somebody else points it out a little bit differently. And so you think, this is exactly what I've been thinking about, but this person has pointed it out to me in a new way with maybe a little wrinkle to it. And that's it. Had a particular viewer do that last night. And I fully believed and bought into everything he had to say because, again, I had already been thinking along the same lines. And if he gives me the permission, I will share his note with all of you. SEC Dog, Sam Pittman, Coach of the Year for sure, or so far. John, yes, we know Nick Saban will be around for the game. Cheryl's picking the Buckeyes. Lost my spot in the live chat. We got BGPO Football Funk. I was on a roll. I had not messed that up forever after screwing it up about 5,000 consecutive times. BGPO Football Funk. Notre Dame killed my parlay sheet. You don't play parlays, DeAndre. Do not play parlays. They get you every time. The odds say... Okay. All you have to do is look at the probabilities. Picking any one game against the spread is a 50-50 proposition. Mathematically, it is. Now, if you feel as though you're good at picking games, 38-25 against the spread, then you feel better than that. But mathematically, it's a 50-50 proposition picking against the line in Vegas. Okay? 50-50. Okay? To pick 2 straight, you multiply. Do you remember this from statistics probability class? Took that as a senior. 50% times 50% is what? 25%. So you've got a 25% chance of picking 2 straight. Take that to a third one. 25 times 50. That's half of 25%. 12.5% chance of getting all 3 correct. And then if you played a 4-team parlay, you're looking at 12.5% times the 0.5%, the 50% again, and 12.5, 6% chance of getting all 4 right. Don't play parlays. We've got Ryan chiming in, says Notre Dame 52-0 a few weeks back. Sure, no offense. Is any team allowed a bad week? Notre Dame needs to do what they do best, run the damn ball. I did not see any of the game. Saw that it was close. I did tape it, so it's on the DVR. But I was surprised. I picked, there's one of my losses. That would be my first loss of the day, was I did take Notre Dame to cover the 21. It just looked too easy. It was one of those, looked too easy. I thought, All right. Dependent Fanatic is already gearing up for next week. Already cheering on Go Blue. John, I can think of one quarterback better than Ian Book than escaped. Yes. Based on what I've seen, absolutely. Lord, Notre Dame may not have enough for Clemson. McD says North Carolina is winning by 21 minimum. They're only a 13-point favorite, I believe. Roberto, can't be such a thing as an odd game because Ohio State never had one last year, and that's how they got to the playoffs. An odd game? Can't be such thing as an odd game. All right, Roberto, whatever you say. Don't know what that means. Thanks, SEC Dog, whatever that pertains to. Great stuff. Ian Book, the problem. Sounds like you people are going to force me to watch this Notre Dame Louisville game late night and dissect Ian Book and shoot a video that 53 people will watch. What's wrong with Notre Dame? They scored 12 points on a bad Louisville defense. I don't know, because Louisville has been awful against everybody. Everybody. Georgia Tech just scored 46. On the bright side, Notre Dame only gave up 7 points to Louisville offense that's pretty capable. Think of that. Clemson owns Ohio State. So, no, I'm sorry. This is not a comment about Ohio State. I thought it was a comment about the Ohio State football team. I'm sorry, BGPO. This is a comment about Ohio Stare. So some type of, I don't know what that would be, a manufacturing company in the state of Ohio, something. Anyway, Clemson has gone out and they've purchased some type of facility in Ohio, apparently. All right, Dependent Fanatic. The Big Ten's best team gets screwed almost every year. The Big Ten's best team. 2019, are you talking about the playoff game? Are you talking about they get screwed by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee? 2018, the Buckeyes got screwed. Depending on your opinion, I thought that was a toss-up. I thought Notre Dame should have been playing in the ACC championship game, and Ohio State and Oklahoma should have both made the playoff. That would have been the way it should have played out. Okay, every time somebody posts a comment, I lose my place in the live stream. David Knight, play calling, quarterback, wide receivers cannot connect, scheme, crap, everything. Ryan, every year Notre Dame is a close game at home for no reason. Last year it was Virginia Tech. I thought they also had a difficult time with Virginia, I believe. I believe they trailed 21-20 fairly late in that game. We talking this year, no other Ohio State going to drill Clemson. So, Lord, I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your optimism as a Buckeyes fan. And certainly Ohio State has a great shot at winning everything this year. Keep in mind that I love when people put the term, and Lord did not do it here, but sometimes they'll state an opinion and they'll put hashtag facts. Well, that's not a fact. Mark Thibodeau, always a cool show. Go Blue. This could be my year. It could be. 30 minutes to Alabama and Georgia. Keep me honest. Let's see. It's 7:38 Eastern time. Ballard, appreciate you jumping on board. Keep in mind everything we've got available here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Understand that we're doing this full throttle all the time. Quit the job, resigned after 19 years. I'm all yours. You guys that have been watching me for years have heard me say it a number of times. Wonder what I could do if I was doing this all the time. Well, we shut down the paychecks and said, let's go. Here we go. Because I had no other choice and I was not giving this up. So we're here. All right. Mary and Steve, go dogs, sick 'em. Woof, woof. Or is that woof, 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 woof? That's probably what it is, right? Mary and Steve. Woof. Yeah. SEC dog, Ballard, don't disappear after tonight. SEC dog, Ballard. Reasonable Gump, SEC dog. Who else do we have that's a Georgia fan that's in here? Anybody? Any other Georgia fans? Hey, Sandra, good to see you. Todd, Mark, meaning Mark Thibodeau. No, not this year. Ohio State's offense is better than last year's. Next year, Ohio State will be breaking in new 5-star quarterback. Roberto letting everyone know about Julian Fleming, one of the great high school wide receivers coming to the Buckeyes. Mary and Steve say Nick Saban just ran out onto the field looking like I shouldn't have come to this game. Oh, boy. McD, get yourself some dinner. Julian Fleming. Yeah. David Knight, this has been your favorite subject in recent weeks. Julian Fleming. So we talked Julian Fleming. I hope you caught it, David, because I was thinking of you when we were talking Ohio State football in our live show yesterday. Julian Fleming came up. Maybe you brought him up. Memphis takes the lead over UCF. 50-49 with 1:08 to play. They went for 2. There's a flag on the field. Got a holding on the offense, so they'll have to retry or kick the extra point, which would only make it 51-49. So, of course, they'll go for 2. Roberto, let me answer this quickly. Clemson torched record margin 73-7 on Georgia Tech. Is that a record? What kind of record is that? My thoughts are that Georgia Tech is basically a bad football team. They're a bad football team that nobody else will beat 73-7. So my point is that Clemson went out there after playing what was supposed to be a good Miami team and supposed to be a good game, and they stayed on that championship level the next week. They did not come down from that. And if they would have scored 30 less points and won 43-7, we'd all be just shaking our heads saying Clemson did what they're supposed to do, and they beat Georgia Tech 43-7. And they went out there and took business like champs. No, they scored another 30 on top of that. That is impressive. That is impressive because Georgia Tech is not a great team. They're not even a good team, but they have a pulse. They can play. They have athletes. They're trying. They have an exceptional head coach in Jeff Collins. They beat Louisville last week by 17, who just went, of course, and played Notre Dame to a 12-7 game, if you believe in the transitive property, which I think if it's seen over and over and over and over means something, but you can make any connection that you'd like. But still, it means something that a Georgia Tech team that it was a close game, but late they put Louisville away. Played much better than Louisville in the fourth quarter. For that Louisville team to play Notre Dame that close and Georgia Tech to turn around and lose 73-7 from a Clemson team that could lightly regard Georgia Tech, they could go out there and sleepwalk to a 5-touchdown win. This says, in addition to the talent and the coaching, the X's and O's, just the psyche, the mindset of a championship type program. There's only a few that have that Clemson mindset to say, we play to our standard. Bobby Knight, way back at Indiana, used to preach it all the time. We play to our standard. Nick Saban talks about that. We don't care who the opponent is. We play to our standard. That's obviously what Clemson's doing, playing to its standard, regardless of opponent. Yes, Roberto, the ACC has been bad. We're not going to know how bad it is really until they get to the playoff. And that's probably not going to tell us. This is going to be the season in which we are not going to be able to take much from. We're not going to be able to take much from the performance and results in the college football playoff and the championship game to reflect that on the conference. Meaning that Clemson is so much better than the rest of the ACC. Ohio State is most likely so much better than the Big Ten. So those two conferences in particular, but really Clemson and the ACC. Ohio State, the gap's not as wide, but they are the best, and it's substantially better than the rest of the conference. The SEC, we'll see tonight. We'll get in the best indicator of anything we've seen this year yet. We'll get tonight with Alabama, Georgia to see, are we talking two elites? Are we talking one of them is, and one of them's down in that Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State class? Because we've seen that before where we anticipated some kind of Titanic matchup, and what we got was 34-13, and we realized that the other team was good. They were good. They were top 10 or 12 team. They were not there. I don't expect to see that tonight. I expect to see a great game. But many times these type games, disappoint. Water break. UCF down by 1. They've got 1:08 left to get back in this game to get into field goal range. I don't know how good their field goal kicker is. They've got a first down. Looks to be at their own 20 or 25-yard line. Dylan Gabriel has thrown for 548 yards. That's a school record. And as is the case most of the time, school records in passing come in losses because you're behind and you throw the ball a lot. I know that the all-time Ohio State passing record before Dwayne Haskins broke it, Art Schlichter, yeah, that was a loss. Most of them are losses. And then Haskins, I believe, shattered that against Purdue. So that was a loss. This is what typically happens. He's going to throw for another 50 yards probably on this drive, and they may not win the game, and he'll have 600 yards passing. So this should be entertaining. UCF out to the 49, down by 1 with 51 seconds left. And there goes the lefty, and he threw it to the sideline and got out of bounds at the 30. So this has been way too easy. They've already made it down to the Memphis 30, and they've only lost 12 seconds. So 2 passes to the sideline. The Memphis corners have made it too easy for the receivers to get out because they don't have any timeouts. And he's going for it all right there. Didn't get it. 41 ticks left. Mike is telling us the Ohio State University Buckeyes need to mature their defense by the end of the season, and then they can take on Clemson for a rematch. Have practice sessions this year focused on Clemson. I wouldn't take that too far. Nathan Cerna, Bama wins 31-21. Rashad, good to see you, man. RTR, let's go. Should be a good one. Dependent fanatic. Joe Milton will have a year under his belt, and your new quarterback will probably still be better. I hope not, meaning next year, Ohio State, Michigan. Check out the video I posted with Steve Dace this week on Michigan Podcast. Steve hit me up for my analysis on Michigan football concerning Joe Milton, concerning the running game from Michigan, and concerning my record projection on Michigan. Mark Thibodeau, why did Saban, I don't know what word that is, such at Michigan State for 5 years and then wow. Oh, UCF missed. So the passing record does come in a loss. And he missed probably, I don't know where they were. They were at the 30 at one point. So maybe that was a 47-yarder. Memphis goes to 2-1. They lost to SMU. UCF loses now. They are 2-2. So goodbye, UCF. Yeah, he hooked it badly. Rashad, Mark, we in here. Bama, baby. We going to shock all the doubter tonight. Well, Rashad, I will say that if you're looking for doubters, every team has them, but I would think that you have less than anyone. So if Bama is trying to challenge and silence the doubters, they have less doubters than any team on earth, any program on earth. Where are we? Ryan, I lost 50 on the West Virginia game. I know it was close. That last-minute punt return from Kansas screwed me. Come on, West Virginia. Can't you cover a 21.5-point spread? Yeah, that was a tough one, 38-17. BGPO Football Funk. I've never seen this comment before. Never. Clemson owns Wake Forest, NC State, and Georgia Tech. Rashad says, can't lose to Iowa and Purdue unranked and say you deserve anything. All right. We're not going through that, but I have made it very clear what are the points and the counterpoints to the 2017 and 2018 college football playoff selections. They were both very questionable. Not necessarily wrong, questionable. Because you can't state on one side of the argument the losses, but not state the wins. It all has to be taken into consideration, the wins and the losses, not just the losses, the wins. So when you beat 5 top 15 teams, that should bring more credit than beating 2 top 5 teams, top 15 teams. Roberto, I meant to say, there can't be an off game to be in playoff because Ohio State had no off game last year, hence they got to the playoffs. Yeah, there is no criteria for the playoffs. That does not exist. Understand that. Just understand that. Whether you love the playoff format or hate it, as I do, just understand there's no criteria. That does not exist. You give me a criteria, and I will explain that criteria does not hold up 100% of the time. There is no criteria that holds up 100% of the time. This is just one component that is ridiculously flawed about the college football playoff system. There is no criteria that holds up 100% of the time. In the NFL, if you said, okay, Mark, what does a team have to do to make the playoffs? I would say, well, that's simple. You can win every game. You can win your division. You can finish with a better record than every other second place team in the conference. You can do a lot of different things to guarantee that you will make the playoffs in the NFL. In college football, you have no idea. Nobody can tell you what you need to do to make the playoffs. And if somebody can come up with that magic item, just give me one. Just give me one way that you can guarantee to make the playoffs. It doesn't exist. Believe me, it doesn't. It does not exist. Nathan likes Bama to cover. I seem more relaxed. It's good to know. I've always considered myself a pretty relaxed guy. Okay. Florida State has scored. All right. Don't know what happened there, but they just scored. That's cool. Oh, there was a blocked punt, I believe. Okay. Good to see you, Mark. Game 7. All right. Anything else in the chat I need to get to? Dependent Fanatic. As a Big Ten fan, I hope one of these teams gets blown out. It doesn't matter who, because even the loser will need another loss to give me hope that the Big Ten will be seen as the best. All right. I understand your point in regards to making the college football playoff. In terms of the conference being seen as the best, the outcome of this game should have nothing to do with rating conferences. It's going to be impossible to rate the conferences this year. It can't happen. But I get your point. In terms of the SEC getting a second team in, they need a close game. They don't need a close game, but a close game helps the cause. El Duque is telling us that Bama will destroy Bennett. Yes, Todd Mac Brown is 0-9 against his alma mater. James, good to see you. That sounded like Elvis and James Burton there. James, all right. Anything else? We got a nacho break coming from Mickey B. Tanya L. Dorsey, I hate both these teams. Next week, can't get here fast enough. Go Bucks. Can't wait till next week myself, because the Big Ten will be in play. The game I want to see more than any game next week, especially in the Big Ten, is Minnesota and Michigan. That is the game I want to see. So Florida State with a 7-0 lead. Have we had any big upsets today? So Kentucky was a 6-point underdog. They won. South Carolina, 3-point underdog. They won. And I think that's all we've got thus far. Ole Miss and Arkansas was a toss-up. So remember what I say all the time. 20 to 25% of the games every week are upsets. Mark it down. It's like clockwork. Roberto looked back at the Ohio State playoff play-by-play, and here's one shocking fact. Fields never ran in the red zone. So is his injury a big deal to the struggles in the red zone other than JK drops? Yes, Justin Fields was compromised in that game. There's no question about that. Absolutely. For the last 5 games of the season, Justin Fields was not himself. And that hurt the Ohio State offense. And then once JK went out, they became a drop-back passing team. That does not discredit the Clemson win. It's just football. People get hurt. As Todd explains right here, Fields was only about 60% healthy. He couldn't run, had to have surgery on the knee, and Dobbins had 2 drops, had like 4 all year. Well, the one was a drop, but it was a diving attempt. The second one was really an awful drop where there was a convoy in front of him. There was nothing but grass. It was a walk-in touchdown, and he just hurried it. Chip is chiming in here. Bama 35-31. PJ Fleck got a good team. Verify controversy says Tennessee was back, or so we thought. Guess not. No, they got blown out, of course. Now they've given up, 34-7, and they lost the second half against Georgia 27-0. That's 61-7. Verify has Georgia winning 24-23. Hey, Ryan. Great to see you back, Mark. Glad to see you look rested. Keep up the great work and enjoy the game. That is one thing that's been nice, is to be able to rest. I'm still trying to regulate my sleep. I'm still not being able to get to sleep until 4 or 5 in the morning, but I'm working on it. So I'm a night person, always will be a night owl, but not to the extent of 5 in the morning. No, thank you. Bama's up 7-0. Whoa, hey. I thought this game started at 8. Oh, looks like we're going. Let's go. Okay, we'll see you. We'll be back. We will be back for post-game. I thought this game kicked off at 8 o'clock. Anyway, we'll be back for post-game on Bama, Georgia, right here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Enjoy the football tonight.